So recently I have a misfortune of stumbling across a conspiracy theory video talking about how the Simpsons actually had planned the Beirut Explosion. The video in question is from a J-Station clone named PrinceMeed Live. Since I want other people to suffer with me, I'm going to make a video responding to his outrageous takes, and you get to listen to him talking while we're at it. Enough rambling, let's get into it.
For so many years you guys, dorang macam ada rahsia tau. Ada rahsia yang macam diorang boleh predict the future. Diorang akan buat satu episod 15 tahun yang lepas. 15 tahun kemudian, that happened.
Go to plan B.
Hey Siri, play Tumbleweed Connection.
The first point that PrinceMeed made was that The Simpsons predicted smartwatches. This particular episode, Lisa's Wedding, was originally aired on March 19th, 1995. But the problem about this claim is that smartwatches had already been created decades before this episode was aired. You have smartwatches that has GPS built in it, you have a smartwatch that functions like a TV, and you also have a smartwatch with a keyboard. If you think those aren't smartwatches, then maybe you might be interested with Timex Data Link. Unveiled on June 21st, 1994, a year before the episode was aired. But even if we decide to look past all of this, there has been a slew number of early TV shows and comic books depicting smartwatches in all shapes and sizes. Dick Tracy from 1946 is one prime example of this, followed by shows such as Inspector Gadget, Sailor Moon, Get Smart, James Bond, and many, many more. With this in mind, it's clear that The Simpsons aren't the ones to predict smartwatches. The technology has always been there decades prior to the episode's release.
If Trump becomes president this year, it will be a whole 14 years before that actual episode.
It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with two Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt. So, did The Simpsons really predict the future?
While it's true that the picture of Trump touching the glowing orb is genuine in The Simpsons, you have to take a closer look to the timeline to completely disprove this conspiracy theory. The original picture was taken during Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia on May 21st, 2017. However, this particular scene in The Simpsons was published after Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia on May 26, 2017. Somehow, a lot of people got the timeline twisted, saying that the scene was originally aired on 2002, which isn't the case.
Orang semua tahu yang pasal Donald Trump. Dia turun escalator long time ago dekat The Simpsons. Years later, it happened in real life. Korang boleh nampak, okay you guys, kat atas tu, yang kat tepi tu you guys, someone dropped a sign. Lepas tu, it happened in real life as well. You akan percaya sometimes. If anybody ada any explanation, I would love to hear one.
Well, today's your lucky day, PrinceMeed. The episode he was referring to is called Part of the Future, which was aired on March 19th, 2000. However, the scene is not part of the aforementioned episode. It was actually from a different episode called Trumptastic Voyage, which was aired in July 2015. Can you take a quick little guess as to when Donald Trump announced his presidency? June 16th, 2015. But okay, let's give you the benefit of the doubt here. Even if that wasn't true, the episode did mention Trump becoming president. So The Simpsons must have predicted the future, right? No. If you do a little digging, you may realize that Trump had been flirting with the idea of making a presidential run since at least as far back as 1999. It's not too much of a surprise when the man himself made it clear to the public that he wants to run as president. People talked about it, and The Simpsons simply used that as a joke.
Few years ago you guys, kita ada Lady Gaga.
I heard your theory, nostalgia's for geeks.
Years ago, The Simpsons ada buat satu episode of Lady Gaga, dia pergi perform.
All my monsters are beautiful. Old Cootable.
I love you, lady. Yeah, yeah.
Guess what? It happened in reality. The exact same thing happened macam apa yang kau nampak dekat The Simpsons years and years ago. Benda memang tak masuk akal, you know, it's like sometimes benda memang gila. Mungkin Lady Gaga dia pernah watch The Simpsons punya episode, lepas tu dia nak buat in reality ke apa, kita tak tahu. Sampai masuk berita, for heaven's sake. I'm just saying.
4 years ago, the show actually predicted she'd fly through the air. Just look at the similarities from the 2012 episode. Even the dance routines look similar.
While it's true that the way she ziplines into the 2017 Super Bowl is reminiscent of that to the one shown in The Simpsons back in 2012, there are a couple of problems that can be seen from this prediction. For one, Lady Gaga in The Simpsons didn't perform in the Super Bowl. The name Super Bowl was not explicitly mentioned even once throughout the episode's runtime, and since there's no such references to the Super Bowl, it's quite a stretch to assume that the show predicted her Super Bowl performance. Besides, this isn't the first time she ziplines into a show. She did it before during the concert in Good Morning America in 2011. So no, that was hardly even a prediction at all.
Ada one episode ni guys where Homer and Marge macam dia tengah putting this VR, lepas tu macam dia tengah rasa makanan from these two tubes. It's 2020 you guys. You boleh rasa makanan tu melalui you punya VR.
It's tingling in my mouth. This is magical.
And I was able to see my hands animated in the virtual world. And when it was time to pick up a new bite to eat,
Is it warm?
There's no explanation langsung. Mungkin dia punya director memang confirm Illuminati. I'm just saying.
So this is the article that I found in relation to the video that was being shown by PrinceMeed. Royal Caribbean's high-tech ship lets you be lazier than ever. Let's read this one out, shall we? The paper screen doors of the Japanese tea house in front of me shatter, the pieces folding into paper cranes that fly away, exposing an ornate garden and stream.
using an HTC Vive headset, I was able to see my hands animated in the virtual world. And when it was time to pick up a new bite to eat,
Is it warm? Oh, the whole room just disappeared.
and with every bite, the room transformed.
That was a hoot.
All because I popped a glowing blue orb into my mouth.
Okay. It's green and sparkly.
Dining in virtual reality is pretty trippy.
It's tingling in my mouth. This is magical.
Very interesting. Oh, it's almost as if she was eating something physical in her mouth. It couldn't be these three things up on that table over there. Very odd, that. It's quite of a scummy move coming from whoever's editing PrinceMeed's video. Clearly, the reporter puts actual food, albeit a dessert, inside her mouth. The only new thing she's experienced is that every time she puts a dessert into her mouth, the scenery inside her VR headset changes. That's it. And look, I don't want to discredit the fact that there are people out there who are creating a virtual reality dedicated to taste. But he shouldn't go out of his way to deceive people like that. It's not going to look good for those who are much more inquisitive than the majority of his fans. But let's say for the sake of argument that this invention is going to be mainstream in the next couple of years. How is this even a bad thing, really? I mean, it's quite of a beneficial invention that could help so many people with restricted diets or health issues. When somebody pitched some crazy science fiction invention, it's not impossible for those to be developed and materialized as we expand our knowledge about science over time. We did it before with smartwatches, and we're going to do it again on Androids. And to a degree, the VR headset dedicated to taste. It's people like PrinceMeed that doesn't have the slightest clue of what humans are actually capable of. Next thing you know, PrinceMeed will say that Malaysia is part of the Illuminati for predicting flying cars 2 decades ago. By the way, telling the audience I'm just saying isn't going to stop people like me calling out bullspit practices in your content when we see one. It's your responsibility to convey accurate information because you have a sizable and impressionable audience. So, I'm not going to give you a pass on this one.
Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati. Which is true, we are.
Maybe dia pernah daripada the past and then they'll go into the future ke, and then he comes back ke apa, lepas tu dia nak buat all these episodes, you guys.
We're part of the Illuminati.
The Simpsons yang from the past, like old episodes, you guys, it's like they know what will happen tau. How do you explain something macam tu? So they give you hints and signs. That's actually very crazy.
You want to know who's part of the Illuminati as well? Me. I'm part of the Illuminati. And do you know who else is part of the Illuminati? You. You see, everybody was born an Illuminati inside them. You just didn't know it yet. Come, join us in the cult of Illuminati. No, seriously, have you ever considered the fact that he was actually making a joke about him being part of the Illuminati? No?
A few years ago, you guys, Elon Musk, they announced to the entire world.
Transport a large number of people and cargo to Mars in order to create a self-sustaining civilization there.
We could live on Mars, just getting there is the problem.
He's a multi-billionaire, okay, you guys.
Earth-Mars synchronization happens roughly every 2 years. So every 2 years there's an opportunity to fly to Mars.
Pada tahun 2022, kita akan hantar 2 cargo ships to Mars. We will see whether benda ni jadi ke tak. Kalau benda ni works, you guys, if it works, yes, humans will live a new life dekat one brand new planet.
The episode that he was talking about is an episode named Treehouse of Horror X, and it was originally aired on October 31st, 1999. But do you know that there are a slew number of films that are published way before 1999 that features people going into Mars? Yeah. The Simpsons aren't the first. Nice try though, PrinceMeed.
On September 21, 1997, Simpsons ada release dia punya new episode at the time, The City of New York versus Homer Simpson. One scene, you guys, of Lisa Simpson, dia pergi tunjuk satu buku tau.
We could all go with the bus company's special Super Sitter fair.
So, everybody knows apa benda yang berlaku pada September 11, 2001. You guys have to remember satu benda, okay, you guys. This episode, you guys, was on TV 1997. On dia punya book, it says New York. Lepas tu ada 9, ada 11. World Trade Center, you guys. The original World Trade Center.
This is the main argument made by conspiracy theorists such as PrinceMeed to prove that The Simpsons predicted the future. In the poster shown by Lisa, you get to see the fee of $9 for a bus trip around New York. And in the background, you get to see the silhouette of the New York skyscrapers. One of them featured the World Trade Center. And sure, you can say that the silhouette resembles the number 11, which means the Simpsons must have known about 9/11 attacks beforehand, right? Once again, no. Here's a little something that I've learned a couple days ago. It's about the Occam's razor, in which it is a scientific and philosophical rule that entities should not be multiplied unnecessarily, which is interpreted as requiring that the simplest of competing theories be preferred to the more complex, or that explanations of unknown phenomena be sought first in terms of known quantities. In other words, The answer that requires the fewest assumptions or has the simplest explanation are most likely the correct one. This theory does not claim that the simplest answer is always correct, but rather it simply states that one's best bet is generally the one that requires the fewest assumptions. So, let's put this theory to the test. Instead of assuming that The Simpsons predicted 9/11 in that episode and that it is an inside job by the Illuminati to subliminally show off their clairvoyant powers, we should consider the following answer. It is simply an unfortunate coincidence. It is a very mundane answer, I know, but let's expand this idea a little bit so you'll get to see what I'm talking about. The Simpsons has more than 600 episodes, 31 seasons, which amounts to more than 200 hours worth of content in the span of 31 years. Therefore, it's not far-fetched to say that some coincidences may happen, such as the case with how The Simpsons predicted Fox being bought by Walt Disney. This does not mean that there is a shadowy organization like the Illuminati that orchestrated everything through The Simpsons. Since the first answer needs several assumptions to all be true, it is probably the wrong answer. There you go. A very simple explanation wrapped up in less than 2 minutes instead of 22 minutes like what PrinceMeed had done. The only reason why this response video is longer than the original video is because I have to address every single arguments that he brought forth to the audience. I think it is very pertinent that I demonstrate to everyone watching this video just how ludicrous his theories actually are. And I get to show some proof as to why that was the case.
Kita punya dunia right now, you guys, ada satu virus yang dah go all over the world. Kat US, you guys, kita dah ada at least 1,000 orang meninggal every day in America. Years and years ago, you guys, sebelum all this happened, in real time, The Simpsons ada buat satu episod.
Please don't tell the supervisor I have the flu.
Ada satu kilang ni, guys, daripada Asia. Ada satu scene ni, guys, ada orang from this kilang bersim inside the box. Lepas tu dia pergi seal the box. Lepas tu dia pergi hantar to America. In real world, you guys, ini semua daripada Wuhan. Ini dia daripada Jepun.
Good Lord.
Kita jangan letak from China, kita letak from Jepun. Satu dunia dah ada this penyakit right now.
Oh my god, you really are that dense, aren't you? You've already said it yourself that the flu outbreak that happened in one of the episodes of The Simpsons was from Japan, and yet you somehow find a way to link it to Wuhan, China. Do you listen to yourself? And here's the thing, the Osaka flu that was depicted in The Simpsons is an outbreak in the city of Springfield. COVID-19, on the other hand, is a worldwide pandemic. Both of the words outbreak and pandemic have completely different meanings. So, no, The Simpsons didn't predict COVID-19. If anything, all they did was using the fictitious Osaka flu as a harmless joke in one of their episodes, called Margin Chains, released on May 6, 1993. This conspiracy theory got overblown so much to the point that the co-author for the episode got sick and tired of people believing that the episode predicted COVID-19. It's not.
It happened dekat Lebanon baru-baru ni.
Oh, speak of the devil. Now you're starting to talk about the Beirut Explosion, the main topic of today's video. Which took you about like 18 minutes to get to that point. I wonder why. It couldn't be because you want to jam-pack like about 12 mid-roll ads into your 22-minute video or something like that. Nah, it couldn't be.
Ada benda yang meletup, you guys, and it sumpah, I swear to God, it was from a Hollywood punya movie. You guys, it's so crazy. I tak pernah nampak anything like that.
I can tell you, whatever happened, it's terrible, but they don't really know what it is. Nobody knows yet.
Lebanese leaders received a warning last month about explosive chemicals being stored in Beirut's port.
To see something like this happen, sumpah sedih gila tu. This is probably not the right time untuk aku cakap semua ni. Many years ago, The Simpsons ada buat satu episod where ada nuclear punya destroyer ke whatever.
Do not press the core distract button.
Lepas tu dia pergi meletup the exact same way. I really don't know how to say it. I honestly do not know. I tak tahu. How is all of this even happening?
I'm repeating myself, but I'm going to ask you one more time, PrinceMeed. Do you listen to yourself talking? You've already said that the explosion that had happened in that episode is because of a nuclear explosion. How does this have anything to do with an explosion caused by ammonium nitrate like what happened in Beirut? What, is it the way the explosion looked when it detonated itself? That's a piss-poor explanation if I ever seen one. You have to be living under the rock for so long to assume that The Simpsons are the only television show or movie to depict a fireworks mishap or a nuclear explosion. But even if the movies might be too much of a stretch to you, there has been explosions due to poor handling of ammonium nitrate, such as the case in Texas City, Toulouse, and Tianjin. Why is nobody linking these explosions back to that episodes in The Simpsons? I'll tell you why. It's because doing so is ludicrous to begin with. So why are we doing this with the Beirut explosion? But okay, maybe it wasn't the way the explosion looked that caught your eye. It's this one building on both The Simpsons and in Beirut that looked eerily similar. So it must be true, right? No. It's easy to explain actually. The explosion in Beirut did not occur at a nuclear power plant. It occurred in a warehouse of a port. And the architectural design for both of these aforementioned buildings are very, very common. Therefore, it's very hard to consider this as an evidence for The Simpsons' clairvoyant powers. So, I guess I pretty much covered all bases for this video, save the fact that I cut off some filler and pointless theories. I'll link the original video in the description below if you want to see the video in full. One final thing I have to address before ending this video is that I'll be expecting to receive a lot of comments from the Brohim Club. Something along the lines of,
okay, if you don't like, why are you here? I don't understand.
No particular reason really. I just choose to waste my time watching this video, creating a script, and editing my own video debunking the conspiracy theories he presented. All of that so that other people don't have to do much of the dirty work explaining why his conspiracy theories, especially about The Simpsons, are wrong. Sure, his content is boring as shit and can only be catered to a bunch of impressionable 9-year-olds, but I want to make a video about him because I can. I want to demonstrate to the rest of the Brohim Club that you should not take his words as gospel. Too many people are gullible enough to swallow everything that he said, and even thanking him for quote-unquote exposing the truth, when he's not. The thing is, he's only doing it for entertainment purposes. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. He even put that disclaimer at the beginning of each of his new videos. Unfortunately, as pointed out earlier, his fans are at a certain age where they couldn't read properly. Good for PrinceMeed for at least including that disclaimer in each of his videos. At least he's trying, despite believing in conspiracy theories himself. Kinda weird how that works, but it is what it is.
Okay, first of all, ada handsome lah sangat. I mula minat konspirasi, lepas tu yang Illuminati ni semua guys. Semenjak 9/11, I was like 6 years old or 5, I don't know. Mama dia bullshit.
So, what can we learn from today's lesson, class? Don't be gullible, don't be a sheep, and have the confidence in yourself to do your own research. Ultimately, you have to form your own opinion on a lot of things. You can't expect people on the internet to do it for you, no matter how relatable they look. For someone like PrinceMeed who has a large following on YouTube, he should know better of the adverse effects of spreading misleading and negative nonsense. But he doesn't care. He'll be laughing all the way to the bank at the expense of his audience that don't know any better. Why change when you can still get paid for doing things like this? But it won't last forever like this. Only time will tell whether people will finally come to their senses of his scummy practice. Critical thinking is an important trait to have moving forward as a functioning society. Because the moment when we start to believe fiction over facts over some guy's mouth, we're going to have a lot of trouble. Thank you for watching.